If you're an academic researcher, you know that for the last decade, the phrase clinical trial has been the bane of your existence. I mean, red tape, massive reporting hurdles, and for many of you, the constant fear of public shaming on ClinicalTrials.gov, only because you didn't want to report results for a study that you viewed as basic science. Heck, I know some scientists who go, I didn't even know the rule was different. I thought this was the rule. Well, the NIH just handed you a get out of jail free card. Notice NOTOD 26032. Look that one up. NOTOD 26032. They dropped that on January 29, 2026, and it's kind of important. The NIH has decided that basic experimental studies in humans, BESH, are no longer clinical trials. Now, is this a victory for common sense? Or is it a strategic move to fudge the numbers and hide years of academic non-compliance? Today, we're peeling back the layers in this great reset. Before we dive, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. We tackle the intersection of food, drugs, and research law every week, and you don't want to miss the next deep dive into the regulations that actually run your lab. Now let's get into it. Some of you may be asking, Darshan, why are you so fired up about a policy notice? So my background's a bit unique. I'm a pharmacist, but I'm also a food and drug lawyer. I spend my days helping companies navigate the FDA and, more importantly, helping sponsors do due diligence when they want to license technology from the university. When a company looks at your tech, they aren't just looking at your Western blots or your p-values. They're looking at your compliance record. And I'm the guy who tells them that your record is clean or if it's a regulatory mess. Today, I'm going to tell you why the NIH update changes the mathematics for you and for everyone else. Let's be real. Large academic sites have looked bad for a very, very long time. Advocacy groups have been ranking universities on their failure to report studies for years. BESH studies were the biggest reason for those F grades. Why? Because you didn't think that a study on how the brain reacts to light was a clinical trial. But the NIH did. By issuing this notice, the NIH is effectively doing an end run. They've decided that thousands of studies that were non-compliant should never have been on the scoreboard in the first place. Starting May 25th, 2026, the BESH exemption from ClinicalTrials.gov is official. It's a massive administrative fudge that makes the university compliance numbers look way better overnight.
Enjoying our content? We'd love to hear more. Please like, comment, share, and find more.
But as a sponsor, I see it for what it is. It's a reset of the goalposts. The administrative tail of your technology just got shorter, which is great for speed. It doesn't change the fact that the data was once in a regulatory gray zone. Now, this is where it gets tricky for my tech transfer friends. You like to use the term human clinical data to inflate the price of a license. The NIH now defines a clinical trial only as something that has the potential for direct advancement of health. BESH is now officially fundamental biology. If I'm a sponsor, I'm using this notice as leverage. If your clinical data is actually BESH data, it may not carry the regulatory weight or the proof of concept validation that my investors expect from a true phase 1 or phase 2 trial. Now, don't conflate human subject research with clinical trial. One is a true value inflection point. The other is just a well-funded experiment. Now, sponsors, listen up. The reclassification creates a new line in the sand. The NIH is expiring all BESH-specific funding opportunities. Going forward, these studies will flow through the clinical trial not allowed channels. But what if a researcher actually misclassifies a study? If they call it BESH to avoid the red tape, but it was actually intended to inform advances in health, you've got a major problem when you try to file that IND with the FDA. Your regulatory dossier will have a mismatch. And don't forget the NIH's data management and sharing policy. Even if it's not a clinical trial, the data sharing requirements still apply. The fundamental know-how might still be accessible to the public faster than you think. You need to check the notice of award for every grant that touched the tech. Now, what's the bottom line? Bottom line, honestly, it's a win for reducing paperwork, which is probably a good thing, right? But is it a huge win for those who are trying to spin out the company or license an asset? The NIH just moved the goalposts to help academics look better on paper. My job is to make sure you see what's actually on the field. Want me to review your current BESH protocols or your tech transfer portfolio to see how this great reset impacts your valuation before May 2026? Find me at the Kulkarni Law Firm. Just go to www.kulkarnilawfirm.com or look for me on LinkedIn. And don't forget to subscribe to the KLF Deep Dive. I'm going to give you more insights that the university PR department is probably not going to tell you. I'm Darshan Kulkarni. Thanks for listening. Call, click, or email